Sticking with New York politics, but with wider national implications. Joining us now, Chief Washington Correspondent for The New Yorker, Jane Mayer, with some breaking news about Manhattan D.A. Cyrus Vance Jr. Jane, what do you have?
He told me that he's not seeking re-election and his term ends on December 31st. So the person who leading the most major, one of two cases, but the biggest case, investigating Donald Trump, is going to not likely preside over any trial if there is one. It also comes at a time when the investigation seems to really be heating up in his hands. But it means that whoever is going to take over is not yet known.
Jane, the AP's Jonathan Lemire is with us and has a question. Jonathan.
Well, Jane, talk to us, if you will, about the continuation. Like, what will that mean? I mean, there's a lot of course, national interest in the potential these investigations into former President Trump, into his business, the Trump Organization. If there's a change of leadership at the top, what is that? What's the trickle-down effect? Will this delay things, slow things down? Will the team of actual investigators who are doing the work each and every day, will they be impacted about this? Just walk us through what the next steps might be.
Well, I mean, in fact, it seems that Vance has brought in people who will help with continuity. He's now brought in a very highly respected lawyer in New York, Mark Pomerantz, to he's been made a special assistant DA. And he's someone who's had experience prosecuting mob cases and other cases, and is also a very highly skilled white-collar defense lawyer with a big law firm in New York. And so he will probably stay on, people think. Vance has also brought in an extremely accomplished forensic accounting firm that's capable of crunching vast amounts of financial information, like the tax returns that have now been given over to Vance's office. They recently received, the Supreme Court upheld their subpoena and said that they could have all of these records that Trump has been hiding all of these years. So the personnel is kind of in place for continuity. I think it puts on some pressure to wrap up the investigation maybe as quickly as they can. I think they think that Vance will be the one who will decide whether there will be charges brought against Trump, which means they expect that to happen certainly by the end of this year.
Tom Winter, there's so much swirling around President Trump, it can be hard to remember what exactly we're talking about here. This started for the Manhattan DA's office in 2018 with the alleged hush money payment to Stormy Daniels through Michael Cohen and the rest of it, but obviously has expanded to something much bigger than that since. So what all are exactly they looking into at this point?
Well, as best we can figure out, and what we've done is try to be able to follow the subpoenas in this case. To your point, Willie, it has expanded beyond those hush money payments. It has expanded beyond Manhattan, and it's looking at the broader parts of the Trump empire, coast to coast. And so this is a investigation that's looking at his properties. We're talking about his Seven Springs properties. There's some indications that they're looking into real estate deals in Chicago. So it has expanded, and really the core of this investigation, and you can talk about different properties and different tentacles of it, but really the core of this investigation is whether or not there was insurance fraud, tax fraud, or bank fraud here. What were the representations that the Trump Organization and the president made to banks at the same time he was filing his taxes? Do those things match up? Were there discrepancies? If so, was it intentional? Was it an intentional way to mislead banks to lend him money or to skirt paying taxes? Those are the issues that are being looked at here, and those are the concerns. And, you know, whenever somebody's appointed like a Mark Pomerantz, I don't just pay attention to what their background was as a prosecutor. I look at what they did as a defense attorney. And when you look at his background in financial crime, security fraud, you have somebody that can look at evidence not just as a prosecutor of, okay, how can I build my case? What are the building blocks? I look at that person's experience of how can they attack that evidence? And he's going to know how this will be looked at by the president's attorneys if there are charges. He's going to know how other people might look at those particular pieces of evidence or witness testimony. So Mark Pomerantz's hiring here, I think, is a real coup and speaks to the non-political nature of this investigation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you out there.
Thank you as always.
Thanks to at home.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for letting us into your homes during these extraordinary times.